getting sassy.
Go ahead, get sassy. Go ahead.
I just completely disagree.
With?
Everything he's generalizing in the wrong way. Like
How so?
he's just stating the wrong generalizations around women.
Okay, how so?
Because he's saying that most of these girls don't have their own money, you know, don't work for themselves, whatever.
No, he never said don't work for themselves.
Okay,
he said don't have their money like that.
Yeah, don't have their own money. They're not as financially motivated or financially, you know, astute as a man would be. But again, I think that's totally true or false. I mean,
you said it right the first time.
No,
you said it right the first time.
He really is portraying women as like dumb, pretty objects, which is how we've been portrayed so much.
No.
And
go ahead.
I understand the appeal to that for a man. I totally understand the appeal of a beautiful woman who has been nowhere and knows nothing, and she's just yours to protect and like mold into your pretty little partner, whatever. But most girls like this nowadays are not like that.
Well, most American Western girls, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I live in America, so I'm
letting the people know. Get your passport.
City boys.
But yeah, most women in America are educated, and women are doing more than they ever have done in history.
I would agree, but you are missing the point here, boo-boo. The point is that majority of women are average. The average of average is still average. So the average of money that Americans make is $48,000 to $52,000 a year. That's average. That's every human that makes money, right? If that is the case, you can't afford a Lambo. You can't afford to go to Greece on every weekend. You can't afford these different things. So even though he's making a generalization about women that are beautiful, yeah, it's still true. Even if you made the generalization of men that are fat, it's still true because that generalization is still true because the average is still average. The average person is living paycheck to paycheck. The average person is not making more than $50,000. This is average, right? So if he says majority of women, that is factually true.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that those percentages are fixed. That doesn't mean that all of that data is fixed. Like, we literally are still progressing. We still have a long fucking way to go, you know, because, you know, men and women obviously have their differences and, you know, just figuring out life and all that shit. It's a whole complex mess, but, you know, as a gender, we have come very far, and he is giving this message to those normal people that most women are like this, most women are like that. And though it may be true, that doesn't mean it should still be true in the future, and that doesn't mean that it is something that should be taught.
What the? Okay. You're talking about you talking about future. We're talking about present and past, and I would actually disagree with him. And this is funny that you didn't even bring this up. I would actually disagree with him about the present, which is of right now, because a woman that's beautiful as fuck, she can make an OnlyFans and makes more money than everyone else around her. So I would actually disagree because the world is moving and shifting in a very simp culture of all the beautiful women are getting majority of the money from all the simps, and all the men that have money and status are getting all the women. The whole culture of a dynamic of dating is literally shifting. So I would actually disagree with him, and I'm kind of sad that you didn't bring that point up, and I had to basically bring that point up for your side. But but when it comes to the dynamic of him assuming and generalizing about women, men, etc., is based in data, statistics, and science. My overall point about your whole dynamic of your, I guess, conversation is if someone is basing their words off of that, how could they as a person be a bad person? How can they as a person be teaching bad things if they are coming from a point of data, statistics, and science? That's my overall point about this interaction. Because again, a lot of people hear and say, oh, he misogynistic. And then I'd be like, how does he hate women? Oh, because of this, because of that. And then those things that they listed are things that are specifically accurate when it comes to like telling the truth type of thing.
I totally get that. Like I
Okay.
said, the data can never lie, the numbers can never lie, but it's the way that he the way that he gives out his message, and it is the way that it is being perceived by everybody. Because you were saying earlier, like, it's a lot of context and whatever
nuance
with certain situations,
Yes.
but on the internet with most things, you don't get context. Like, you usually
True.
just see a clip of something, you
I
know, a
agree.
tweet here, snapshot, whatever. So most people aren't getting any context in what they're receiving, you know, from these people or the messages that they're receiving. And because of that, they take most things literally. Most things that are said literally. They're taking what he is saying literally because, you know, that's what normal ass people do. They don't read too much into it. They
I
just
agree.
see shit, move on, whatever.
I agree.
But because of that, because that's how people are, he can't be giving out his message like this because of how whenever I would hear, of course, for a man, you can't, you know, understand what it would feel like, but when he would say some of the things he said, I was like, damn, like, ow, like,
Okay,
what the
name
fuck?
one. Okay, name one.
Man, I was trying to find this one clip for like an hour, but I guess I didn't save it. But I mean, a bunch of the stuff he said in this video, just the way he speaks about women in a demeaning way, it's usually demeaning, although he does say his good things, you know.
But
He has a picture of the ideal woman and, you know, the ideal man, but that's, you know, his picture, and he's describing it to his audience in his own way. But the way that he's doing it, parts of it are good, a lot of it is good, you know, a lot of his, you know, not break the chains, whatever, do your own thing, you know, fuck society, whatever. All that shit is great. I'm not going against any of that stuff that he said. But purely on his views of women, he is just not sending the message out in the right way. Though the facts may be correct, what's the word?
Delivery.
Yes. The delivery is fucked up. And no,
Congratulations. You
Played yourself. Here is the actual truth, right? No. Here, because you got to understand the world as the world, right? The world that we live in is very non-contextual, non-nuanced. You have to be out there outrageous, crazy. You have to do something outrageous just for you to gain and garner attention, right? So I don't know if he did this purposely or he did it by accident, but if he was to come along and say, oh, talk the right way, give it a meaning of not be, I guess, abrasive, my word choice would be, then that message wouldn't get across to so many people. But since it's now gotten across to so many people and so many people have gravitated towards back to him, now he can speak in a more contextual way to clear up all the things that he said before versus him not existing and men continuously be weak and oppressed and give the shit that you was talking about earlier on the